Hey guys, what's up? As requested, I'm going to review a video by Thewizardliz. The video is called You Are Not a Victim. I already reviewed a video of hers some time ago. I am 100% sure that this girl has borderline. No doubt about it.
Hello guys, before we start this video, we need to say hi.
The lips are simply disgusting. It makes it really hard to watch her videos. Completely fake, obviously.
To the newest edition of this family. This is Marcy.
Of course, why would this be surprising? There's no way that any guy could stand being around her, which is why instead of having children, she has a cat to cope with not having children.
I heard that you are falling back into the victim
I failed at life.
Again, I heard that you're sitting in your bed all day, feeling sorry for yourself, and oh my god, life is so unfair to me. Honey, no one cares. Nobody's coming to save you. And in this video...
What do you mean? That's literally what you just did by showing off the cat. You're showing to people that you failed. Every human being on earth wants a family. Naturally, it's what we do. We reproduce. We love having children, men and women. And by showing the cat, you are showing how sorry people should feel for you because you don't have children. The irony here.
So I will tell you everything you need to do. Snap out of that mindset. Hi guys, my name is Liz and welcome back to my channel. Okay, let's get into it. First things first. I'm going to tell you something right now that is going to change your consciousness and it's going to change the way you look at life. So be ready. Listen to me. This mug over here. Someone had to imagine this mug in their head in order to put it into the physical realm. Okay, so this is an imagination of someone. You go into your job. Your job is your boss's imagination. He imagined a company that he wanted to create and then he put it into the physical realm. So you're basically working at your boss's imagination. Countries are not real. We all imagine...
Oh wow. Okay, I'm pretty surprised because this is what I talk about in my videos. We'll see what else she will say. But yes, countries are not real. Of course, we simply imagine borders. There is no such thing as a border. No country on earth has a border because countries don't exist. We simply imagine that this fence, or even if there isn't a fence, just some line or nothing, that this is a border and this is where a new country starts. In reality, it's literally just natural earth, which humans claim as in they want it to be their land, but you cannot own natural land.
Effectively, a border. That's not there. It's just earth, okay? Everything's earth, but we imagine that those countries are separated. Money. We imagine that paper or the amount you have in your bank is worth that much, but it isn't. And if tomorrow the big corporation banks say that...
What's going on here? I'm totally agreeing with her because this is what I talk about in my videos. Did she watch my video about her? Nobody talks about these topics. Actually, I haven't seen anybody ever talk about this except for me. Not saying that it hasn't happened, but I haven't seen it. And I made a video about her. Is that a coincidence? Where I talk about all this? I don't know.
Hey, listen, the money you have in your account or the cash that you have is not worth anything. It's not. So basically everything we have in life is just an imagination.
Right, exactly. That's why money doesn't exist. Money is an idea in your head. You give it the value. You give the paper or the numbers some value, even though it's just man-made symbols with zero value. But because it's a mass manipulation of our minds, we all believe in it and we go along with it. But as far as existence goes, it doesn't exist. Literally, you cannot sense it. Great video so far.
That means we're living in a dream. That means we're living in an imagination. And that means we're living in whatever you want to call it, the Matrix, a game, whatever. Now bear with me, okay?
Right. There's the natural earth and you have actual physical objects and everything that you can touch, sense, smell, see, hear. And then you have the so-called world, which is an illusion which has been put over your mind. And that's everything that you believe in everyday life, your job, money, all of your goals in your life, all of it is fake. A lot of it doesn't even exist.
The people in your life. Let's say, for example, in my life, my sister, okay? Who is my sister? The only person that I know as my sister is my perception of her, is the character that I created of her in my reality. But if I ask right now to my mother, hey mom, who is my sister? She will give me a completely different answer. Because in my mother's reality, she created a different version of my sister. The same way when you have a relationship, right? And you think, I'm gonna get married to this guy, whatever. But then one day, all of a sudden, he does something to you, he cheats or whatever, and you're completely like shocked. And then you say you're heartbroken. You're not heartbroken, you're ego broken. Your ego had imagined something. You imagined you had a future with this person, but it was not reality. Because honey, the only thing that's promised in life is that we will die. But other than that, nothing is promised. You can never know, never, even your own mother, you can never know how they will act.
It sounds like she simply has had bad experiences with guys, which is more or less the same conclusion I came to in the last video of hers. She simply has been, you could say, traumatized, maybe even by her own family, because she talks about parents, or specifically the mother, as if you can't even rely on her. But I trust my mother with everything. I trust my mother 100%. I trust my mother with my life and just absolutely everything. And you have to. If you can't trust your parents 100%, then there's just something incredibly wrong. Those are not proper parents, because when it comes to your family, you have to be able to trust them absolutely 100% with your life. There's just no way around it. She's really just projecting her insecurities and trauma onto her audience, telling these girls, and it's mostly women who watch her videos, that you shouldn't trust anybody 100% for sure, or even at all, which is the vibe that I'm getting from the video, and that you should always only rely on yourself, and probably the typical stuff about women relying on women and don't trust men. She's really just a misandrist. If you don't know what that is, it's somebody who hates men. That's what I get out of her videos.
Basically, imagine everything we do. We imagine our future. We dwell on the past, which also doesn't exist. Future, past doesn't exist.
Okay, yes, that's true. But still, even though you should live in the moment, that's how humans live in nature, because any day you could easily pass away. Of course, if you are together with somebody, then you should be able to trust them 100%. If not, then there's something wrong with you. You have trust issues, but you're projecting these trust issues onto your audience. But not everybody is like this. Not everybody is traumatized and living in pain.
Only this moment is what we have. So if we start to realize that, wait a minute, we're kind of crazy. We live our whole life imagining stuff and thinking that it will happen a certain way and that it doesn't. What can we do with that? We can realize that we're the creator of our life. We can realize that we can create this dream or this imagination however we want it to be.
Oh man, she's really just becoming a cat lady. It's just the lips. She obviously has a filter on. She had also in the last video. The face doesn't look normal. Incredibly much makeup. She's just fake. That's the problem. If you would not portray yourself as so incredibly fake, then it would be a lot easier to take what you say seriously.
You want to blame your trauma, you want to blame capitalism, you want to blame society. At the end, you will be left with no one to blame but yourself. Your life is shit because of you. I remember I used to sit all day in my room crying about why my life was shit and blah, blah, and oh my god, my father abused me, blah, blah. You think that anyone cared? No. You know when they care?
Wow. Okay, that perfectly explains everything that I've said about her. That's typically when girls develop a borderline personality disorder, BPD. It's not funny, but I'm just laughing because she's just such a typical BPD girl. Everything that she says, the way she talks and acts, she's the perfect example of borderline. And her trauma, her pain, which she went through, her abusive parents, or at least the father, it's all very typical, just super typical. That's exactly why it happens. It's just that she's radiating exactly that kind of a so-called energy.
When you get out of it, when your life becomes a success story, David Goggins is not David Goggins without his success. No one...
David Goggins is not successful whatsoever. How would you define success? I can't imagine how, by any definition, he could be called successful, seeing as he's incredibly sick, as in actually physically, but also mentally, which is also physical. He's very severely depressed. He has said this many times himself. He's one of the unhappiest people on earth. He's always suffering. He's seeking suffering, which means that he's very, very severely depressed. as in alarmingly, nobody should be taking any kind of advice from him. Why would you take advice from somebody who, well, I won't even say it on YouTube, but you get which direction he's heading to, obviously, in that kind of a mindset. It's just very strange to call him successful, even though as far as your body goes, your natural self, he has completely failed. You can't even fail as much as him. David Goggins is the very definition of a failure, a failed man. The very definition of a loser. I can't even think of anybody else who would fit the definition of a loser and failure as much as him. And for her to call him successful says everything about her.
Would care if he was still the same guy before. They would just look at him and be like, whatever guy, like shut up, everyone has problems. But now he's an inspiration because he turned his life around. No one will care about.
How did he turn his life around? He was suffering, in pain, traumatized because of his childhood and the way he grew up. And then he started suffering even more because he's so severely traumatized. He was in the military, got severely abused there, which is what for the most part happens in the military. And then he continued doing that. Literally, by every definition, his life only got worse.
Any of you guys are sitting in your victim mindset. Someone might listen to you and be like, I feel a little bit bad for you. But everyone moves on with their life. You will be left behind. No one is going to save you. You know why? Because no one can save you. The only person that can save you is you. No one is going to make you change. Growth is not easy, okay? Growth is not easy. Growth is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Every time you learn something, it's 2 steps forward because now you have more knowledge. But then if you put it into practice, it will be 1 step back because you're not used to acting like this, okay? But you still have to continue though. If you give up, once you feel like, oh, this got uncomfortable, oh, this is too much for me. If you give up right there, you'll be right back where you started. And we want to move, honey. Stop abusing yourself by being in the same circle that you don't like. Stop abusing yourself by being the same person that you don't like. Look into the mirror, honey. We don't have anyone to blame. You don't have anyone to blame.
Oh my God, this video is unbearable. She really has a lot of emotional issues.
But see, as a victim, it's easy to run away again. It's easy to be like, oh, I tried. You didn't try. And you didn't try hard enough. Try again until you get there. Another thing is some of you are genuinely addicted to drama, okay? And you have to realize this. A lot of people, when they come out of an abusive household, they will think like later in life, like, hey, it's too peaceful, it's too quiet. So what do? They start to attract people that will give them that toxicity again because this is the only thing they knew.
This is true, but you already admitted that you grew up this way, which means that you're also looking for drama, which is typical for people with borderline. She's talking about people as if she's not like that herself, but she clearly is. That's why you talk so dramatically. A normal, natural, happy and healthy human being doesn't talk like this, doesn't act like this.
That's what they grew up with, okay? Realize that you're the creator of that drama though. You can choose to have a peaceful life. You can choose to just have peaceful people around you. And if you can't find peaceful people, just be peaceful on your own for a while until you find someone that makes you feel peaceful too. But see, you don't want to do that because you want to feel that adrenaline again. There is something in there that you're still attracted to. So you need to work on that.
Yes, which is, I'm 100% sure, the case for you. That's why you have cats in your kitchen. That's why you don't have a family and children.
My friends are so toxic, my partner's so toxic, we constantly fight, this and that. Why don't you start looking at why you allow them in? Why don't you start looking at, don't I have control who I allow into my life? Why don't you start looking at you? And why don't, why don't you start looking at what is it in me that I don't feel worthy of enough of having people that actually respect me? Notice what...
Oh, it's very interesting how she doesn't even once mention that it could be the girl who's toxic, exactly the way she is, clearly. But it's the women who don't respect themselves who are together with abusive partners, because the guy has to be the bad one, obviously, because guys are bad. Women are always angels. She never says, look into the mirror and realize that maybe you are toxic, because she's talking to women. That doesn't even come up in this monologue, because these people love to hear themselves talk. It's crazy, man. This is crazy. It's just all about women, 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 Men are bad.
I wake up and what do? Do you go on social media and that's it? You scroll all day and then you're like, oh, my life is shit. Society is bad. No, like honestly, you're just not good enough. I think it's funny because when I talk about it, people want to talk about pretty privilege and stuff. I don't get it because you want to cry about pretty privilege when there's people accomplishing more than you, okay, that are maybe not as good looking or they don't even have hands or feet and they're still...
Absolute nonsense. These women should watch some black pill videos, even though it's mostly men watching those kind of videos. Women also need to understand that the better you look, the better you're going to be treated in life. And even though you can't really say how she looks like because of how insanely fake she is, she's definitely not bad looking, even with all of the makeup filters and those horrible lips. Before the lips, she probably looked a lot better. Point being, she probably experienced a lot of so-called pretty privilege in her life, the same way good-looking guys do. And these people will always say that to other people, not realizing that their lives are that much easier. But some girl who eats junk food, doesn't eat what she's naturally supposed to, as in raw meat, blood, and so on, will not even be biochemically able to do anything because she will not have any motivation, any drive in life. It's depression, essentially. And if on top of that you're not good looking, then how could you have a drive to lose weight or to gain weight in some scenarios? Where would this drive come from? She just doesn't get it.
When someone wants something so badly, they will get it done anyways. Crackheads, every single day, they have a way to get crack, you know? Like, okay, I know that's not a good example and stuff, but still, they don't complain about society. They don't say, oh, I don't have a job. No, they find a way to get money and they buy their crack because that's what they want. Go from complaining,
They probably won't get a job to get the drugs, but her point is irrelevant because what she's talking about are people who are simply naturally not privileged enough, so to speak, as in good looking, which is the most important part, and they will never experience life the way these other people do. Back in the day, most people were good looking, whereas nowadays, it's not very few, but it's definitely a lot less, simply because of how terrible our diets have become. Point being, she cannot even relate to any of these women who she's talking about. She doesn't understand that life is way harder for them and way harder for guys who are bad looking and especially short also. These people will never walk through life as easily. They won't get the jobs just because of the way they look like. Money won't come to them as easily. They won't get a lot of views on YouTube just because of the way they look like and so on.
To gratitude, you know. I saw this DM message that said like, yeah, but capitalism, like Liz, you live in a bubble because of capitalism, we can't achieve anything, this and that, blah, blah. I didn't come from money. I came from very abusive childhood and I was an immigrant and I still turned my life around, okay? Because I turned my mindset around. I had a plan. If I didn't do that and if I...
She's completely oblivious. If you looked worse than you do now, then you would have achieved nothing. You would have 1,000 views on YouTube. You really don't get that? Does this girl actually believe that people watch her because of what she has to say? Yes, very few do, but most don't. That's pretty crazy if you can be that delusional, really.
If I, for example, want to attract like a bigger thing, like how do I attract it? By feeling already satisfied with what I have, by being grateful for what I have. That's how I feel fulfilled. That's how I will feel rich, okay? But someone that has all these things already and has the biggest luxuries, but every day he doesn't feel like he has it, they will always feel poor. It's a mindset. If you constantly look at what isn't there instead of what is, you'll create more of that. So the more you complain, you will create...
The way you will feel rich is by being fulfilled, and only what is natural can fulfill you. That's what gives your life meaning. If you have money which doesn't exist, or even stuff that does exist, such as cars, a mansion and whatever, it's all cool, but it doesn't fulfill you because it's not natural. It doesn't give you anything natural, as in it doesn't provoke any natural feelings. Biochemically, it doesn't produce any chemicals that makes you feel good, so to speak. A big house with a fence could give you a feeling of comfort, safety, which is good, that's important. But compared to having a family, people who love you, a community, Of course, on top of that, if you're good looking and you eat what you're naturally supposed to, then you will feel actually rich because your life will feel absolutely fulfilled. If you don't have all of that, but only have all of this superficial stuff, then nothing's gonna work.
Imagine I have a child right now and I start abusing my child physically, and then I say to you guys, oh yeah, but my father used to do that to me, so I'm the victim of that, so that's why I do this. You guys are gonna look...
That's actually how it typically is. People who abuse their children do it because they were abused as children, and it goes for pretty much everything. It's just because you're damaged yourself and you don't know anything else. It's as if you're living through this trauma, through your children, or whatever the case may be, whatever happens in your life, you are usually gonna end up doing that to other people.
At me and be like, no, Liz, this is your responsibility, and you guys are gonna blame me, and rightfully so. I am the one to be blamed, okay? It's not fair what happened to me, but whatever I do with it next is on me and no one else. Life, when you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot show up as the best mother, the best daughter.
That's how it is naturally, of course, because you only see this one human being doing whatever he or she is doing, and you have no idea about their so-called past. That's true, of course.
The only person that is going to save you now is you. You deserve everything you want in life, and anything, and you can get it once you set your mind to it. Stop listening to people that have no clue about life. Stop taking advice from people that you don't even want to share lives with. These people are miserable themselves. And what if you had like a parent or whatever tell you that, oh, whatever, this is how life's supposed to be, you're supposed to suffer. Honey, no, that was not written for you. You can change that around. You don't have to do what your parents did. All in all, I'm not here to make you guys feel comfortable. I want to wake you guys up, okay? I want you guys to change your life, and I really care about you guys. Hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed.
The biggest problem with people today is that they are not comfortable. Most people today eat terrible food, which makes them uncomfortable, especially their guts. They have gas, bloating, even pain. Then they work out against their own senses. Again, there's no comfort. Pretty much nobody is living a comfortable life anymore today. Whereas in nature, you are, for the most part, comfortable. Especially a woman's life is very comfortable. It has to be, because she has to create children and she has to be happy and healthy, which really just means comfortable. A man's life may not be as comfortable, but that's okay. Men don't mind. We actually enjoy getting food and going through tough times, so to speak, if they are required. Not that we want to do that, but we can take it.
This video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Love you.
She's still the same old. As far as what makes you happy and healthy in life, she hasn't learned anything yet. She does understand now, maybe because of my videos, I have no idea where she got this information from, that money doesn't exist, countries don't exist. That's all great, but that's not really gonna help you to be happy and healthy. It's more so just a way to figure out life and how much we have been brainwashed. But to become happy and healthy, you have to start eating naturally. That's the number one step. As I said, you need to eat what humans eat in nature. You need to start eating a lot of animal organs, which are the most important foods for natural human beings. That's what you feed your children as the first foods. That's what pretty much all of the people in Africa used to do and still do today. Everybody used to do it, but my point is that in Africa, they are way closer to nature and still do it in a lot of parts of the continent today. As I said, drinking blood is important. Even raw milk would be good, especially goat's milk, if you can get blood, and eating a lot of animal fat, which women are afraid of. You will become infertile if you don't. They use the pill, they are biochemically sick. The pill makes you choose a more feminine man. There's incredibly many problems. She doesn't talk about any of this. The most important part, which you should talk about if you want to help women, is how they are being destroyed biochemically. Once you're biochemically healthy, then you can focus on having a family, and you will want that. All of the women who start eating a lot of animal fat, especially raw fat, which is obviously easier to digest, more nutrients, raw meat, everything, they want to have family. They dream about having children. And even though all human beings do, men and women who don't realize it will get cats and dogs. That's why she got the cats, in case you don't realize it. There's no other reason to get them. I get that you may like cats, probably because you have been infected by them. And you can like dogs, that's all cool. But if you're alone, then you will get them because you want to have children. It's just a coping mechanism, that's it. This is what she should be teaching women if she would want women to be actually happy and healthy, but she doesn't even realize any of this. She probably wouldn't even be able to tell you why she got the cats. That's how delusional she is. It's crazy that she's influencing so many women because she's really just destroying the lives of women. Thanks for watching.